Jamie Shea, senior fellow at think tank Friends of Europe, told us how the deal was brokered.
Well, I think Qatar has played a decisive role because of its close links to Hamas. As you know, many of the senior Hamas commanders are living permanently in Doha, so Qatar has a lot of influence over them. It's mediated before, so it's a trusted go-between. It also has good relations with the United States. So I think Qatar has worked the Hamas angle, and I think the United States in particular has worked, as you would expect, with Israel, with the government of Benjamin Netanyahu, putting pressure on the Israelis to do something which initially they were very reluctant to do, which of course is to agree to any kind of pause in their military operations for fear that would take the pressure off Hamas. Egypt is crucial, of course, because it controls the only border crossing into Gaza at the moment, at Rafah. And if you've only got 4 days, just 4 days of this truce to get a lot of medical supplies and food and fuel and water into Gaza to relieve the dire situation, then you've got to have Egypt's full cooperation to really open that border crossing and get all of those hundreds of trucks moving so that that pause can be exploited to the full by the humanitarian relief organisations.
So how does this deal change the dynamics of the conflict? How will it be received by the people on both sides?
Well, obviously in Israel, there's been a very strong movement calling on the government to work for the release of the hostages, notwithstanding, of course, the universal desire in Israel to punish Hamas for what happened on October the 7th. And there's been a big march of people sympathetic to the plight of the hostages from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. They've petitioned the Knesset. They've met with the Israeli war cabinet. So Netanyahu has been under a lot of pressure to make a move on this. Despite some of the opposition from his right wing, who would like to continue the military operations. Secondly, we see also, I think, with now the dire situation in Gaza, Hamas also realizes that it needs to make a gesture, because if Hamas refuses a humanitarian truce because it also wants to keep the fighting going, it's going to lose a lot of support among the Palestinian population, both in Gaza and the West Bank. So I think it plays to the current agendas of both Hamas and Israel. But of course, the key question is, will this just be a sort of a drop in the ocean? 4 days of quiet with some relief going in, as much as I've said, as the relief agencies can deliver in just 4 short days. But then we're going to go back to business as usual. The air campaign against Gaza, the Israeli military operations that we've been seeing so far with more human misery. Or can the international community, the US, Qatar, Egypt, the Arab players in the game, the UN, can they all work together to convert this into something a little bit more durable and a bit more constructive, such as a lasting ceasefire and some kind of humanitarian safe area or humanitarian zone in Gaza, which would at least give more durable shelter to the civilian population of Gaza?